So to start this video off, there's exceptions to every rule. But for the sake of just my opinion, I'm talking in broad terms, so just keep in mind there's exceptions to every rule to what I say, and what I say is not absolute. Because the topic I'm about to cover is very haram. And for my opinion, to go against the status quo, especially here on YouTube, is deeply triggering and bad. But here we go. This is my opinion on critical race theory. So, from what I understand of it, it's a way that's being taught in schools to give people the bullshit reason to think about your race, think about your past, and how that might affect others. But what it is it's liberalism, it's cultural Marxism, taking all the sins of the United States, all the sins of the world, and all the sufferings that any minority has ever had, and taking it and laying it at the feet of every white person. You see, because the people who often talk about not judging a whole by the rate by a select few radicals is somehow blaming all white people for any transgression against any minority that's happened in the last 2,000 years. So here's the thing, right? We are not responsible for the sins of our fathers, and neither do white people need to atone for the sins of the past. The past is the past, and kissing someone's ass here in the present isn't going to make up or atone for the sins of that past. So, critical race theory, that's what it is. It's just a way for cultural Marxists and liberals, people who are open minded, and again, I have to say this to hammer the point home, who usually say, don't judge the whole lot by a select nutty few, right? Don't judge a book by its cover, right? Are somehow, again, pointing at all white people saying, you're the problem. Ooh, your lack of melanin is a problem. Somehow, the United States, the world at large, has been under the spell of some patriarchal, invisible empire of white people that they've just been keeping everyone down for the past millennia. Which, what really started this off was there was a senator that said something about July 4th. You're not really free on July 4th. When this person was an African American woman that was a senator. So it's like, okay, let's just say hypothetically, there's this invisible empire of white elitism keeping people down, right? They're somehow keeping the African American culture fatherless, on drugs, separated, uh, getting them addicted on alcohol and various things, but yet somehow miss you going to the Senate, acquiring a very powerful uh, chunk of power within this grand operatic scheme of the United States government. So you can kind of see where this bullshit ploy is falling apart, right? And it seems to me that this whole critical race thing is scapegoatism, right? Uh, You see, cultural Marxists and liberals, they like to pretend that they're these open minded, bleeding heart people who just care for the minority and the oppressed. When, in all reality, the only thing they favor is political power and to control people and to keep them in sections, to keep them down. They're the real ones here, keeping people down, keeping people oppressed, keeping people stuck in safety nets. They're the real enemy here. There's other enemies here that I can't name on this platform. Because, again, on YouTube, you can't call out evil on this platform. You can't call a spade spade. That's nothing racial, nothing ethnic. That's just in a general sense. So, that's what critical race theory to me. It's all bullshit. It's a way to demonize and dehumanize white people and to plant the idea that if you have less melanin, you're somehow responsible for the woes of every minority that's ever suffered in God's green earth. And then again, it's not about the color of their skin or the content of the character. It's actually just guilty by association, and that some reason, if you're European or got less melanin like me, you're somehow, again, responsible for the evils of everything and that somehow this culture of, dare I say, whiteness stole everything and appropriated from everyone else, and we're actually just basically a bunch of cave Celts that huddled in caves and cold up north. It's black Israelite bullshit. It's what it is. When we all know the real history of humanity, you can look at the great empires and say like, okay, this group, Rome, the Slavs, the barbarians, uh, Moroccans, Carthaginians. You can look at all these societies and be like, they all have their unique, uh, like cultures, art, facial features, and realize that this wasn't all stolen somehow from another race. You feel me? But then again, ignorance anymore is bliss, and people just want someone to hate. And especially if you look at the situation in South Africa right now, Zuma, the maybe it was their president or ex-president, has been arrested, probably for corruption and other crimes not ethnically related. People have taken up burning things, killing other people over this. And again, what do we see in the media? Oh, it's somehow the evil white Boers. It's somehow these evil white farmers who just want to farm and provide food for their fellow man. Somehow they're the evil problem, right? But then again, to end this video and to come full circle, isn't it interesting how the people who are usually open-minded and bleeding heart for everyone else are usually also the most hateful against other groups that don't go with their operatic scheme? And then again, these people who claim to be open-minded and tolerant of others often overlook the crimes of other groups in Levant for fear of being called Islamophobic or xenophobic. And again, what do I know? I'm just an uneducated, artard, evil white guy that somehow profited off everyone else. And these people are the educated people. Smarter than I. And that's all. Drop a like, drop a dislike, comment below, and or subscribe if you haven't already. And that's just my rant about critical race theory and all this shit. That's what it is. It's just shit. Cultural Marxist garbage being pushed by a political elite who only love political power and to control people like marionettes, to control speech, to muddy the very idealism of good and evil and morality.